Gory movie show, which I feel like has some nuance. And Laird, what are you doing looking at?
They have similar sets, that's all I can say.
What? They're nothing alike. Oh, so they're orange, so they're exactly the same. Maybe they're filmed in the same room. Whatever. Hey, Lita's here. Where was Lita during Ghouls Night Out? I missed her. She's one of my ghouls from Freaky Girls Live. We're pretty much best friends.
Lita's cool.
Yeah, she's my buddy. Anyway, so I just finished Ghouls Night Out. Hey, June Cleavage is here. I love her. I just finished Ghouls Night Out, and I was like, hey, I still feel like talking to people, because I do that. So I thought I'd invite Danny here.
The next best thing to people.
You know, because he lives in the same house. So I thought, you know, we could do a collab. It's an easy one. And he told me that, you know, there's some new things going on in the horror world. And we're going to start this thing called the Gory Hole, where we just talk about what's going on in the world of horror. Some things are going on.
And drink beer.
Yeah, he gave me some Rolling Rock. You know this isn't Cinemaster, right?
That's in your video game.
It was just on Cinemaster.
Yeah, but James drinks other beers, is all I'm saying.
How do you know?
Because I've seen him, but the nerd never does.
The nerd is straight. Is it echoey?
Am I quiet? Might be far away.
Oh, there's an echo. All right.
This thing?
No. There's an echo.
I think it's Boris. He's trying to peck my pecker.
No, Danny.
Or drink my beer. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's trying to do.
Is that better? Hello? Is that better? Let's see if that's better. Alright, I'm going to give that a second and see if that's better. I think it's probably better. I don't know. I have to wait till I hear from you, but it's probably better. Kind of.
What were you editing, Lita? You got a new video in the works?
Is this better? Oh, that sounds worse. Is this better? Oh, shit. Is this better?
Someone said much, but then you like messed with it more, so is it still good?
Is this better? Alright, if it's still bad, let me know, and I will adjust more settings, because I got settings at the yazoo.
Lita, we want to know the scoop. Give us a hint of your new video you're editing.
She might not want to tell you. It could be...
She can say she doesn't want to tell me.
You're putting her on the spot, and you're making her feel uncomfortable.
I figured she could just plug what she's working on. Why not?
You don't understand Lita like I do. Alright, I'm going to go on Twitter. If you guys have social medias, I just decided to do this spur of the moment. You know, maybe tell some people. We're streaming. Why not? Get some people here to watch.
June Cleavage says it's still good.
Alright.
Alright. We're no longer echoey.
That's good. So, Dan, what's been going on in the world of horror?
Well, my boy Chucky got a teaser trailer for his TV show finally.
Did he now?
It's going to be on the USA and Sci-Fi Network. Sci-Fi Network kind of makes me afraid it's going to have a little bit of a cheap production, but whatevs. USA might be okay, though.
Sometimes Sci-Fi Network does some good stuff.
But apparently it's so horrifying it can't be on just one network. It has to be on two.
Why two?
I don't know. Sci-Fi's owned by USA or whatever.
All right.
Whoever owns them.
Anthropomorphic Fiend, tell me if this is better. I changed it again. I changed the settings. So hopefully that's better. I try. Maybe Dan's quiet because he's too far away from the mic.
Hello.
So Chucky, and you said there's a trailer, right?
And a teaser trailer, yes.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
What the fuck? You didn't even tell me?
It was all over everywhere. It was talkings about it.
All right,
all over the social media.
It's on the YouTube, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to the YouTube. So I'm gonna go watch this teaser trailer. So think of this as like a reaction. So did you guys know there's a teaser trailer for Chucky? I feel like Chucky and I have gone back so far that he should just, you know, send me a DM when he's got something new coming along. Like, that's just polite.
Yeah, I agree. At least it ain't the Billy doll. Or the Buddy doll.
The Buddy doll.
The Billy doll's from Saw.
Okay. All right.
Oh, what if Billy got his own show from Saw? He wants.
Are you ready? Well, you've seen this already, but this may not be interesting for you guys to watch. But I'm gonna quickly watch.
I watched it on my phone. That didn't count.
This teaser trailer thing. All right, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
This is an ad.
Yeah. But now you can skip it. Skip that ad.
Ah, dude, skip it. So this is it. 2021.
Yeah, right?
I don't know what I'm doing in 2021. That's too
Will
far
there even
away.
be an Earth in
That's
2021?
too far away to make plans. A new original series. This looks very heartwarming. I like that we're getting the new Chucky music. Or, not the new Chucky music. I've had way too many beers. The OG Chucky music is what I mean. An old friend. I love that little bastard so much. Chucky. He warms my heart. And Evil Too Great to play on just one network. USA and Sci-Fi. See, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
That is the epitome of a teaser. Is there more?
Not really. I don't think it's gonna play it again. I think.
That's it. That's the epitome of a teaser trailer right there, because that's not a whole lot.
No, not much to go on.
Chucky. So I'm okay with the USA Network and Sci-Fi both doing this Chucky series. Because if you remember back in the day, we would watch Monster Vision. But when Monster Vision was over, what did you turn to?
Up All Night.
USA Up All Night. Like TNT and USA, they did a lot of the same stuff.
They rivaled because they both had the spooky stuff at night, and before that on Mondays, they both had their own wrestling networks.
This is true. This is true. So I'm okay with this. I am okay with this. Chucky. So obviously it's Dom Mancini. Now there's a lot of controversy over this because Dom Mancini, I mean, in my opinion, Chucky is his baby.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's been involved from the beginning. He is the creator of Chucky. A lot of people are a little pissed at him because they don't like some of the stuff he's done, like Seed of Chucky.
Yeah, that was bad.
It was bad, but at least he was willing to take risks. I mean, that was his first project. And he's done a lot of experimental stuff. And I think when you're experimental and when you take risks, sometimes it fails and sometimes it wins.
I also think it's funny because in Cult of Chucky especially, they really kind of make fun of the whole voodoo stuff, being a part of the plot, which he had nothing to do with original. Yeah, but both of those times, he's making fun at it because he didn't actually want the voodoo to begin with.
He never did.
That was put into the script, or not his script, but it was put into the movie afterwards.
Originally, the whole idea of Chucky having, like, life and stuff, it was, obviously the Charles Lee Ray thing, but he also exchanged blood with Andy, and that was their connection, and the script was called Blood Brothers.
Yeah. And then it was going to be Batteries Not Included, but that's already a movie, so...
Yeah, about old people. Not what you would think
old
it would be.
Old people in these weird little alien ships. I like it, though. But not Chucky.
You should scoot in closer. I don't know if they can hear you very well. They probably want to hear you. It's, all your little thoughts. So, yeah, I mean, I think Seed wasn't obviously his best work. But it was his first directorial debut.
Yeah.
It suffers from budget. I mean, especially when you look in the backgrounds and stuff. Like, it really suffers.
Yeah.
But I think Curse was really good, and I think Cult was really creative, and I like that he's still, a lot of people when they fail, they don't get back up on that horse, and they don't keep trying, and he keeps trying, and he keeps trying new things. I think he's really inventive. I think he has a lot of passion for Chucky, and I'm really excited for the show.
And one thing, I feel like he really does right by a lot of the characters. He has a lot of respect for Brad Dourif, Jennifer Tilly, and them being on his show and his movies, and he takes a lot of input from them too, because when they say this is how I feel my character be, he usually listens, because he knows that means a lot to them to play those characters. Andy still has a job now because he gets to be in those movies, and that's great. Andy, it's time to play Hide the Soul.
In a way, I feel like Chucky is, I mean, obviously it is his character, but it's also Brad Dourif's character.
Yeah,
he has voiced his character from the beginning, with the exception of the Mark Hamill one in the reboot. But this is just as much his character too, and I think that's why he respects him so much, and that's why there was such a devoted support for Mancini when the reboot came out. You had Jennifer Tilly and all these people, Fiona Dourif and Brad Dourif, saying that they didn't support that movie because they knew that it could hurt Mancini's potential future with his creation.
Yeah.
And it's because it's something that they all collaborate on so much, something they're all very passionate on. And I honestly, passion goes a long way with me. Like, you look at movies like, you know, The Evil Dead is one that comes to mind. And yeah, let's be honest, the movie came out in 1981 and it was made on a nothing budget. If you watch it, it drags in places. There's not a lot of character development. Some of the effects haven't aged well. But the reason why that movie is still a classic is because you can feel the passion in that movie. That was made by people who really just wanted to make a scary movie. And when you consider their resources, they made something extraordinary that is still horrifying people today.
Yeah.
I feel like passion translates through film. Like, it gives the movie a soul. And people can, you know, feel, like, sense that soul in a movie. Like, maybe you know, maybe you can't articulate, but I feel like you still sense it. Like, you know when you're watching something that's just a cheap cash grab. You know when you're watching something that's like a studio thing that was just made to make money. And you know when you're watching something that was really meaningful to people. When movies come along that were made by people who are passionate about filmmaking, you know, movies like Saw, movies like, you know, The Evil Dead, and, you know, Child's Play, I feel like people stand up and take notice because there is so much passion behind those projects.
Yeah, I mean, we're all horror nerds here, and when horror nerds make horror movies, we appreciate that they put that in there. And that's why I think those actors really show support, and they're very loyal to him because, you know, he makes them feel valuable, they make him feel valuable. They all work together because they really believe in it. And everything, like Cult of Chucky, you can say a lot of things about it. It had some weird editing in it, but they're people who really want to make that movie.
I mean, it's his playground. If he wants to do experimental stuff, like, it doesn't always work for me.
No.
Seed of Chucky isn't a movie I enjoy. There's a lot of stuff in Cult of Chucky I didn't like. There's a lot of things I did like. But I really commend him as a director for, you know, taking these risks and, you know, trying new things and trying to develop his style. Not everybody gets their style right away. Not everybody is a Spielberg or a Kubrick right out of the gate.
Yeah.
You know, he's developing his style, and I think it's cool that he is willing to be experimental with it.
Yeah, Ariel mentioned that it left on a cliffhanger, and it did, and it made me want to know, where is this going? I want to see more. It wasn't the best movie ever, but I still really wanted to see more. And the plan was for him to have a show, and I think then end it with a movie when he's finally all said and done. And I was really worried about the Buddy Doll movie that came out because I thought that might ruin things for him in his show. But now that there's a teaser trailer and I know that it is on track, I'm a little more forgiving about that remake happening.
Like in the chat here, the Beldam saying, you know, movies made with passion, Godzilla King of the Monsters, movies made because of name recognition, Lion King, 2019. I feel like, yeah, 100%, these Disney live action movies, they feel soulless. They look soulless. You're looking at things that don't exist. You're looking at computer-generated images, but it's not just that. You're looking at something that you know is a cash grab. You've seen The Lion King. You've seen Aladdin. You've seen Beauty and the Beast. You know that this is just a way to play on your nostalgia and get money, and I think that's why it kind of gives people a feeling, you know, of distaste.
Yeah. I mean,
even though they're not technically bad.
But that's because they're remaking a good movie. As for The Lion King especially, why does that need to be live action? There are no people in The Lion King. I felt like the animation downgraded with the CGI.
Well, because it is animation and because Simba has less expressions when he's trying to look like an actual lion.
Because the animals have animal faces, so when they look mad, sad, happy, they still just look like a normal animal that you can't really tell. But in the cartoons, they, like, you know, express with smiles and frowns and worried looks and stuff. It's just...
And that's something that I want to talk about a little bit, because so in these live action movies, so they're basically getting you to pay twice for a movie you've seen already. You've seen The Lion King, you've seen Beauty and the Beast, you've seen, you know,
Aladdin,
all these movies, but they want you to pay again to see the same fucking movie done in live action. Now, I'm not the biggest Disney fan. I like Disney, but I know there are people who are like super into Disney, like how I am to horror. And I think those people could argue with me, don't you do the same thing with horror movies? How many fucking Friday the 13th movies have I seen? How many Chucky movies? And will I go see something just because the name Chucky is on it?
Yeah, I will.
And I have to admit, yes, 100% I will.
As Anthropomorphic Fiend said, Maleficent, he does feel like there's passion. But then, once again, Maleficent is an original movie. They just didn't... It wasn't a live-action Sleeping Beauty. It's its own tale.
Well, he might be mentioning that because it's derived from the tale of Sleeping Beauty. But yeah, 100% I feel like Maleficent was very original, and Maleficent took a tale that we knew and it told a new story, and it gave us a new perspective. And I thought Maleficent was fantastic. I really liked Maleficent, and I like that we are seeing some movies that are offering some creativity, and especially stories that are giving young girls, more stories. I think Maleficent's story, like, she's the bad guy, but she, that story also has a lot of subtext to it that's worth exploring.
Yeah. And yes, I have seen Something Wicked This Way Comes. It is a good movie.
Yes, Something Wicked This Way Comes. It's one of those movies I watched when I was really, really young. It's one of those movies that's really unsettling. And I really like that back in the early days of Disney, honestly, Disney kind of got me into horror. I'm not gonna lie. There are some Disney movies that excited me because they were scary. And I think you know one of the ones I'm gonna talk about. Return to fucking Oz.
Yeah, because they got that from MGM. They got the rights so they could make the sequel.
It's nightmare fuel, but I ate that shit up. Not only did I own that movie, but I had you would get the books.
Yeah.
Like the books for kids. I had a book for kids. It had all the pictures and it had the story in it. I recorded the soundtrack from my VHS tape, and I loved that movie so much. But it's horrifying. A woman takes off her head. We have the Wheelers.
The Wheelers that chase her around.
Which are men with wheels for hands that chase her. It's horrifying.
Yeah, that was like a horror movie. And Farissa Bulk or whatever.
Let's see, what else has Disney done that's horrifying? You know what? We talked about Chucky, but this is at the Gory hole where they ain't no rules here. Where we're going, there are no roads.
There is no topic to stay on.
There are no roads,
We just
Marty.
This was where we started.
Hop on into my motherfucking DeLorean, because I'm going to take you to some new places. Now you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about fucked up kids movies that are horror movies. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, Dark Crystal. Still makes my skin crawl.
Dark Crystal. I actually still have not seen the Dark Crystal, so this is all you.
Out of all the movies I saw as a child, and I saw Jason movies, I saw Freddy movies, I saw Chucky movies, I saw all of them at a very, very young age. I was watching horror movies since 3, 4, 5. The Dark Crystal is the one that always...
What about it?
Just the puppeteers, the work is so good. This is not a diss
Jim
on the
Henson knows his shit,
The
dude.
weird bony vultures.
Puppets.
The weird bony vultures and I don't know,
The puppetry's fantastic.
Exactly. Same thing goes with the Labyrinth. Just a world of Muppets creeps me out.
Okay. Labyrinth. I fucking love Labyrinth. I fucking love Labyrinth.
It's got David Bowie's junk in your face almost the whole movie.
That gave me an early sexual awakening. That was some good shit for me. That was I finally discovered dongs. It was good. But I will admit that remember the Firebirds who take off their heads?
And throw them around.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up. So let's see, what else was horrifying?
It's just a fact that if there was a world where actually Muppets were actually a living creature like that, it just grosses me out.
Lita mentioned the Black Cauldron.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
That's one. There's something people talk about a lot, just how dark some of them are. We saw Mufasa die. We saw Bambi's mom die. There's a lot of dead parents, which honestly, in some ways, in that respect, Disney movies are a lot like superhero movies. You can't become awesome unless your parents are somehow out of the picture.
Yeah, and the villains, they do get to be somewhat horrific. She mentioned Vincent Price in The Great Mouse Detective. And he's a villain. I love a lot of the villains, especially in Roger Rabbit. When he finally, when his eyes pop out and he takes off the mask, that is pretty much nightmare fuel for a kid.
Even though I'm a massive horror fan, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is probably my all-time favorite movie. He knows from living with me. I quote Roger Rabbit at least once a day.
Yeah.
I love Roger Rabbit more than anything. except for maybe my kid. It's like my kid, Roger Rabbit, and then I don't know, maybe my dogs. I love Roger Rabbit so much. I was Roger Rabbit for 2 Halloweens in a row. But yeah, Dr. Doom is horrifying.
Yeah, especially like when his eyes pop out and it's like
I talked.
Yeah,
just
when I killed your brother. that is a very horror feeling movie, like scene. Just that scene, anyways.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really scary, and I did a video on Horror Addicts way back in the day about most tragic deaths, but the Little Toon Shoe.
Little Toon Shoe.
Like, there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
Yeah.
June Cleavage just mentioned one, Pinocchio.
Oh, yeah, where they all turn into donkeys, and that is...
You know what I just realized?
Whale.
I just had an epiphany about Pinocchio the other day. I was rewatching the 90s Ninja Turtle movie. It's Pinocchio. It is, isn't it?
I don't know.
Take the turtles out of it.
Oh, okay, the kids that go to the Foot Clan.
But yeah, their whole underground skate park thing with menthol and regular cigarettes.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as with the donkeys.
Yeah, that part is.
Yeah, and then the kids are lured there with the promise of like good times and come hang out and you'll be accepted and you'll be safe and all this stuff. But they get turned into foot soldiers just like the kids in Pinocchio got turned into donkeys. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that makes the Ninja Turtles Jiminy Cricket?
Splinter's Cricket. I don't know. Somebody is.
You're a cricket.
But...
Alright, so Zachary Haith mentioned The Never-Ending Story, and he also mentioned Labyrinth and Troll. I love Labyrinth, but Never-Ending Story does have some especially when his horse dies.
It's
like,
really
that
sad.
one was really sad.
And then the werewolf thing that he kills at the end. There is elements of horror in that, too. It didn't freak me out as much as the Dark Crystal did, but it does have puppets that kind of make me, puppets.
I love puppets. Pretty much anything that has a puppet in it is a go-to win for me. Like Basket Case, definite win. I don't care if it's bad puppetry. Anything Jim Henson, definite win. Pretty much Henenlotter. That's like why I love Henenlotter, because he loves his puppets and I love my puppets.
See,
when I saw Bad Milo, I'm like, yeah, gotta go buy it because it's got a butt demon puppet.
Something like that doesn't really bother me. I love those movies, but that doesn't bother me. It's just like a world where Muppets exist. I don't know.
But you love Ninja Turtles and their puppets.
That part with Donatello's mouth open and you see the guy's face in it, that's actually pretty scary.
But you didn't notice that as a kid.
No, I didn't. It took me a while to notice that.
So, more creepy kids movies. Secret of Nim.
Yeah, that's there was a lot of cartoons like that. All Dogs Go to Heaven. They have some horrific scenes in them.
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Secret
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is basically Saw for kids.
It really is. They did an homage to that in Thor Ragnarok, and it was scary then. Yeah,
it's part where he's in the tunnel and he's just like freaking them all out. But then if you think about it, every kid gets eliminated and you never see them again, so you just assume they're dead. Like
they're in the tunnel. That's where they go.
One kid gets stuck in the chocolate tube.
So you know how
he
Pennywise
can't
was
survive
like, they all float down here?
Yeah.
Oh, they all float in that tunnel. They all float in that tunnel.
Yep.
Lita mentioned the steamboat scene.
Yeah.
Yep. I
Honey,
remember the storyteller, the Jim Henson puppets. That was great. That was really good.
Honey, the Shrunk the Kids didn't scare me, but it did give me some tension. Where the lawnmower, and like it was keep coming to him. I was like kind of as a kid like on the edge of my seat for that. So
I liked that because they had a giant ant, and that was a puppet.
And it fought a scorpion, and then
I'm all about anything puppets. Puppets are a win. June Cleavage mentions Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Tell him Large Marge sent you. I love that movie as a kid, but that scene scared the piss out of me.
Well, yeah. So
I don't know a kid who wasn't scared to death of that. But yeah, there's a lot of these movies, like Watership Down, Plague Dogs. A lot of these movies that seemed like they were for kids, but they had some dark shit in them.
Yeah.
That was really scary.
Though I don't think Watership Down and Plague Dogs were supposed to be for kids. It's just the fact that they were animation that kind of got lumped into the kids, like, under the table,
Did you ever see Watcher in the Woods? That was a movie that really disturbed me as a kid. And that was a Disney Channel movie. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, kids movies.
Beldam mentioned "Are You Afraid of the Dark?" That
I
one
like
had
that
some pretty scary. I can't remember the name of it. We had a show on BBC in England that was a lot like "Are You Afraid of the Dark?" And I remember they had an episode where the kid has a mirror, and it had like a doppelganger in it, and the doppelganger in the mirror switches places with him. And that one, like, I can't even remember the name of the show, but that scared the shit out of me, and that was for kids.
That was an episode of Goosebumps.
Was it?
Well, it's one of the books, too.
No, because Goosebumps didn't come out until the 90s.
But
this was like the 80s.
They did it for Goosebumps as well. It's the same plot.
I mean, it's something that's been done before.
Yeah.
But that scared me a lot.
Oh, dogs go to heaven. American Tail had some scary stuff, too.
What was scary in American Tail?
Just the cats all wanted to eat him and stuff, and like just the animation, like
They were delicious little mices.
yeah,
Mices.
it was just a pretty violent,
Mice.
horrific
English
animation.
language.
But that was done by the same people who did All Dogs Go to Heaven and stuff too. That's why there usually was a singing crocodile in a lot of those too, for some weird reason.
There really was.
Yeah. What scared you as a child?
Scary saying, "Hey, William Ellman's back." I love that guy.
Yeah.
He makes a lot of music, and then he's always really nice and sends me links to his SoundCloud.
And there's Ben Grimm. Hola.
Ben Grimm is the best. Hey, since they're here, there's not a lot of people watching. I was thinking about doing our Patreon movie night tomorrow. If you guys want to watch Don't Look Now and you're available, I don't know. Let me know. I was thinking about doing that tomorrow.
If not, we'll
Maybe
do it
Lita
soon.
wants to join as a guest host since
Oh, yeah,
she's
Lita.
here. Why not? I have a Patreon. Sometimes we watch movies. Check it out. You want to just segue and just jump around a whole bunch of stuff? Jump around, jump up, and get down.
You know what?
You're like, that was totally not hip.
A lot of people always want to see like a Chucky Annabelle crossover, but honestly, I'd rather see Chucky go on with Dolly Dearest.
Have not seen Dolly Dearest. That's something I want to talk about. I feel like no matter how versed you are in horror, every one of us has a really big movie, or a few really big movies most likely, that we have not seen. You should scoot in here so they can hear you.
Let me try and think. Oh, can I have another beer?
Help yourself, bro. Mini fridge.
Yeah.
So I want to hear in the chat, because I know you guys are all big horror people. What are the big horror movies that you've missed out on? One I haven't seen is Angst. I know that's a big one from 1983. I know it's a big deal. Possession with Sam Neill from 1981. I haven't seen that one.
Have you seen Sledgehammer from '83?
I have not seen that.
I recommend it.
Shoot, there's some big ones. Lita wants to see Chucky versus Robert the Doll. Like Robert the Doll from the movies that are out, like the series, or the actual Robert the Doll. Eyes Without a Face. So Zachary Haith, I've got a big. I feel like I've been talking about this for so long, but I do have a big all the gory details coming up on that one. It's a really good one, and hopefully you'll be able to check out that video. I'm actually gonna work on that when I'm done with this stream. I feel like talking to you guys. I haven't talked to you guys in forever. Ben Grimm, The Mummy with Tom Cruise, or the OG Mummy, or the Hammer Mummy? There's a lot of mummies here. I'm curious which one.
Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy.
Let's see. DTN2 hasn't seen Prince of Darkness. You know, that's one I hadn't seen for a long time. I watched that actually only a few years ago because I love Carpenter. And that was pleasantly surprising. That was a first watch for me when I did the review over on Horror Addicts. And I bought it right away. I really liked it. The Changeling, you know, that was a first watch for me too, Ben. I watched The Changeling on Joe Bob Briggs' show. So, yeah, I feel like no matter how versed you are in horror, there is something that's escaped you. Ariel, you haven't seen The Monster Squad?
Oh, you need to see that.
Ariel, you would love that. I know how much you love those kind of movies, especially like Evil Tunes. You need to see Monster Squad.
Yeah. June says hasn't seen the Phantasm movies. You're in for a weird, wacky ride, but start with
June,
the first one.
I hadn't seen this until recently, and then my friend Jay from Bloodbath hadn't seen those either. It's really funny to watch his reviews because, you know, I think when people watch things like later in life, when you know it's a classic, I feel like you're coming at it in a different way. You know, like I just did a stream, Ghouls Night Out, we were talking about Scream, and it was a little different because they had seen it all for the first time on rentals, but I saw it at the theater, so I didn't have a lot of these, like, you know, I'd never heard from anybody who I saw opening day.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different than when you see something on VHS and you know it's a classic and you know people like it. You know, it's different. Like when I saw Phantasm, that's a movie that's been around since the 70s. I'm watching it here in the 2020s.
Oh, yeah.
And so you know it's a I feel like you come into it with a lot of expectations, and sometimes those expectations set you up for a failure, and sometimes it actually lives up to them.
Yeah, it just depends. I try not to...
Ariel hasn't seen Psycho? Oh.
I saw Psycho when I was a little kid, and I watched it with my grandparents. And even though they like kind of were watching me watch it, like they wanted to see my little kid reaction to some of those things, like especially the big reveal in the end. Thankfully, I got to see it without any spoilers. That's one thing I really appreciate.
I watched Psycho when I was so young. I don't even remember if I knew the ending, but I did show my kid that movie when he was really young, and he didn't know the ending. Ben hasn't seen Hellraiser past part 1. Hellraiser part 2 is... It's almost on par with the first one. In some ways, it's better. In some ways, it's not as iconic, but in a lot of ways, it's a better movie.
And 3's fun. I recommend seeing it.
And I like 3 because there's a lot of great... Oh, no, 3 is kind of like your fun, like Freddy Krueger style slasher. A lot of people really like it. It's fun. It's a popcorn and... It's a popcorn movie.
I recommend it, but it's not going to be like...
And then 4's got some great world building, and then you just stop. You just stop. After 4, do not watch another one. You just don't watch another one. That's it. You're done.
At least don't watch the last 2. They don't even have the real Hellraiser, like, pinhead in him. It's like great value version.
All right, so really big horror movies that you have not seen.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure there are. There's some.
All right, let's talk about some new releases that I'm sure. I feel like you and I have gotten behind on the new releases. We used to be people who would watch every single thing, and then I think we got really burned out. And now I feel like I'm one of the... Like, I know The Beach House is getting a lot of buzz. I haven't seen The Beach House yet.
I haven't watched that yet.
I did see The Lodge. Did you see The Lodge?
No.
It was pretty good. I don't think it's not... Like, a lot of people are saying it's Midsummer Hereditary level, and I don't think it's that level. I think it's pretty good.
We both saw Becky recently.
William hasn't seen Blood and Black Lace. William, I have a request for you. So William's introduced me to actually a lot of really good horror movies that I hadn't seen before. It's one of the reasons why I really cherish my friendship with William, because he has always recommended movies to me that I end up loving. He introduced me to, I pronounce it wrong every time, but Noroi, I think it's Noroi. But The Curse, he introduced me to that. He introduced me to Black Sunday, not Black Sabbath. Black Sunday.
Black Sabbath.
But, and he's also the one who requested the Eyes Without a Face review. So, absolutely. I haven't seen Blood and Black Lace either. I feel like we should watch that together on a Patreon movie night. Like, that'd be epic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know he likes Bava, and I like Bava, and he introduced me to Black Sunday. So I feel like we need to watch this on a Patreon movie night. Let's see if Ben Grimm's down. Maybe not obviously this month because we got one planned, but maybe next month.
Just trying to think of any big
I want to see Black Sabbath too, because I've heard Black Sabbath is great, but there's a lot of Bava and a lot of Giallo movies I haven't seen. I haven't seen Blood and Black Lace. I haven't seen Bay of Blood. I haven't seen Black Sabbath.
I don't know if Ozzy's gonna rejoin anytime soon, so.
I haven't seen hardly any full chain movies outside of Zombie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen House by Cemetery Lane.
Oh, that's a good one.
I haven't seen that one. I need to bone up on some more of those. I recently saw Tenebrae. That was pretty good. I saw Deep Red, but I rewatched Phenomena. I saw that when I was really, really young, but I don't think I appreciated it as much. But I love that movie. I appreciate it even more now.
That's actually probably my favorite out of those movies.
Honestly, I know everyone loves Deep Red and Tenebrae, but I think I like Phenomena more.
Yeah, I think Phenomena's my favorite.
I think me too.
Boom. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's some sort of big movie I haven't seen, but I can't think of it. I know there's new movies
I know I introduced you to a lot of movies when we first met.
Yeah.
I finally made you watch Jennifer's Body. You'd never seen Buffy.
Well, at that time, Jennifer's Body was fairly new. It had just come out.
This is true-ish. True-ish.
It only, I only saw, the previews, and the previews did not sell that
William,
movie well.
I feel like you saying Deep Red is the bomb that's inspired me to suggest that for your next song. It needs to be Deep Red is the bomb with some samples from the movie Deep Red. There you go.
Boom.
I'm interfering with your art now.
Bring back the bomb.
I think I might have to ask him if I can use one of his songs for an upcoming video. He does a lot of good stuff. I also like, I like Angel Ortega a lot, who's also on SoundCloud. That's where I get a lot of the music for my videos. Because Angel Ortega is the man.
Yeah. Wow.
I haven't seen Inferno, which I've only seen Suspiria of the I think it's called Mothers of Tears is the third one, but of that trilogy I've only seen Suspiria, and I've seen the remake.
I think I fell asleep during Insidious 4, and I don't know if I ever finished it.
Insidious 4? No, you did, because you rated
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, maybe I did finish it.
I've seen all the... Oh God, you know which one was hard for... Okay, now I'm going to segue into another topic. Because that's what this is. We're in the gory... The gory hole is a swirly mass of blood and guts, and you know what? There's no direction. We hop around.
We're shooting the horror shit.
We're shooting the horror shit. So, now I want to talk about movies that were nearly, if not completely impossible for you to finish.
Ironically, Insomnia, Robin Williams, I fell asleep watching that 5 times.
I mentioned it because Insidious 2, which is really funny because I have a friend who's not that much into horror, and she saw it, and she's like, oh, you love horror, you need to see Insidious 2, it's so good. I'm like, I've tried watching it 5 fucking times. We had a night where our power actually went out. We had no heat, no nothing. All I had was a laptop, and I had Insidious 2 on it. I had nothing else to do but watch the movie, and I still couldn't finish it. I eventually saw it after 5 tries, but it was like pulling teeth.
You wasted your laptop battery on that.
I did. You were there.
The horror.
You fell asleep too.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I think I've fallen asleep at most of the Insidious movies.
You know what's even worse? Honestly, I like 3. 1's okay.
3 was
honestly,
better.
3's my favorite.
I think 3 is my favorite too.
Is that weird?
I think that's... No, I don't know.
June Cleavage, Hills Have Eyes, the remake or the OG? I gotta know.
Or maybe both.
Mother of Tears. I do need to see that.
Okay,
yeah,
I haven't seen Mother of Tears.
Joseph Hall's here. Yeah, that's the third of that trilogy with Suspiria and Inferno.
Yeah, but I don't think I've seen Mother of Tears.
Oh, the Hills Have Eyes remake is really good.
Though I
still fun fact, when I
one.
saw Hills Have Eyes, the remake, what I used to do is I would go to the drive-in, and our drive-in would have 2 screens, and one of them would show 2 kid movies or family movies, and the other one would usually show something a little more adult.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take my son, and usually go with one of my friends, and we'd go watch the kid movie, and my kid, because he was a baby, he barely would make it through the first movie. And then he'd fall asleep and I'd go to the other screen and watch the scary movie. And that's how I saw Hills Have Eyes. And my kid was asleep in the back seat.
I saw the remake in the theater, and I just remember the point where they ransack the trailer and the dad's being burned up on that cross or whatever, on the spikes. And they put the gun to the baby's head or whatever. And I just remember so many people got up and just walked out.
Kitty.
Yeah. Fluffy kitty.
Kitty.
He's not amused.
He is amused. He's happy to be on the show.
He looks pissed.
He's I have fallen asleep in every movie I've ever watched ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
All movie boring.
He makes Grumpy Cat look happy.
Right now he does.
I am an angry cat. Angry.
He does not like being held like that.
But he won't do anything.
No,
He's
I know.
a sweetheart.
He doesn't some cats will scratch it. He don't care.
He doesn't scratch anything. He's a sweetheart. One movie that was even harder for me to get through than Insidious 2, Underworld 2.
Oh God, the blue guy, where he's a blue mixture of werewolf and vampire.
That movie was my cure for insomnia.
Yeah.
I never got past the first scene. I still to this day have not finished it. I've tried like so many times.
I think I liked Underworld 3 the best too in that series.
I like Underworld 3.
It's like a Romeo and Juliet ripoff, but whatevs.
Whatever, Romeo and Juliet's a classic for a reason.
Exactly. Just with werewolves and vampires. And it was a prequel.
Anthropomorphic Fiend, and you'll have to correct me, is it Martin or Marty? I don't know. I try to remember people's names. It's one of those. Let me know in the chat. He couldn't get through Hellraiser Inferno. I kind of like that one because it's got the guy from Nightbreed in it, but it ain't great, so no one's blaming you for that.
If I only really recommend the first 3, not Hellraiser.
Joseph watched it on his PSP. I remember PSPs.
Oh yeah, you could watch movies on those too.
Oh, you couldn't get through It Follows? Martin. Yeah, I should remember that. Martin. Like the vampire movie.
Like a explanation mark. Like Martin.
Marty isn't far off.
Martin the vampire movie though. Have you seen that?
Okay, that's another one I haven't seen.
Martin is a great vampire movie.
I'm a terrible horror fan. I haven't seen Martin.
There's a great subgenre of vampire movies that aren't really vampire movies. That is a whole genre itself.
Transfiguration, is that what it was called?
Yeah, that's one of them. The one with Nick Cage.
Which they mentioned Martin in it.
Yeah, the one with Nick Cage. There's also a
Which
couple
one's
other
that? Vampire's Kiss?
Something
is
like
that.
Yeah, Vampire's Kiss, I think. Yeah, but there is a genre of movies that are vampire movies that aren't really vampires.
Hey,
What's
B.
Up, B?
Since everyone from Patreon's here, we were thinking about, because I was sick last week, about doing our Patreon movie night tomorrow. Let us know what you think about that.
Yay or nay? Not us.
It's for like a lot of people from Patreon here.
Yeah.
Wow. Vampires. So Anthropomorphic Fiend, Martin, is obsessed with vampires. I'm sure he's seen Martin.
George A. Romero's take on a vampire.
Joseph Hall. I love Monkey Shines. It's amazing. Yeah. Duel is one of those movies I have a hard time, maintaining interest in. I liked the story by Richard Matheson, but the Steven Spielberg movie, it's okay.
It's okay. I like it.
It's
right before he made Jaws, and he hadn't really got his feel as being...
Well, he did that, and then he did the Sugar Hill Gang, and then he did Jaws. And I just got Jaws on 4K, and part of the reason he did Jaws is because he thought that Jaws basically sounded like Duel, but with a shark, and he's like, it's even the same number of letters. Like, he gets way into it.
It's kind of a weird
There's 4 hours of special features in that Blu-ray.
He also... He gets weird about aliens too. Like, he does not want to do a scary aliens movie because Spielberg firmly believes in aliens. Did you ever hear
the Steven Spielberg story behind Paranormal Activity?
Go ahead. I know.
So the story with Paranormal Activity, which involves Steven Spielberg, is that movie was making its rounds at the festivals, and he got a copy of it. I think it was a tape, maybe it was a disc. At any rate, he got a copy of the movie at his house. He watched it, and then he couldn't get out of his room. He was, inexplicably, locked in his room. Yeah. And he blamed the fucking movie. It scared the shit out of him. When he finally got out, he returned to the movie the next day in a garbage bag, because he didn't want to touch it. And he, left it outside and told him to collect it, because he didn't want to touch the movie. He wanted it out of his house, but he did say it was, the scariest thing he had seen in a long time. And he was the one who suggested the change for the ending. Because if you've seen the festival version, or even the deleted, the alternate endings, it is different.
I do like his ending though. I think he came up with a good ending for it. I'd like to kind of lock Steven Spielberg in a room with Stephen King and just see what comes out. I think it'd be torture for Steven Spielberg because he does scare easily, and Stephen King, who loves to scare people. But I think they'd come out with a great story because Spielberg is a good movie maker.
Spielberg is so afraid of aliens. I feel like if he just shared gray matter with him, that story, Spielberg would be shitting his pants. Or even Tommyknockers.
Yeah, when Spielberg was making Close Encounters of the Third Kind or Fourth Kind, whatever it was.
You know what? When it comes to aliens, they have all kinds of kinds.
Yeah. But anyways, when he was making that movie, he was contacted by the government, basically from Area 51, to not make the movie, and that
is so creepy.
It's firmly been in his head that aliens now exist and Roswell and all that stuff is all true because that the government tried to shut down his movie. So now he totally believes.
He may not be wrong. All right, there's some weird alien stuff in the world. Call me a conspiracy nut, but
even if they're not in the world, they got to be in this universe.
All right, so now I want to do 2 things. I want to do one thing from my buddy Martin. Talk about some vampires. But first, since we're talking about aliens, Scariest alien movies. You only get to pick 3. Go.
Scariest alien movies?
Scariest, not your favorite. Those are 2 different questions. You can't say Independence Day.
Independence Day is not scary. Though the sequel was horrifying.
That's why I said you can't say Independence Day. Like, I love E.T., but it's not scary.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little scary, but not that scary.
The sequel to Independence Day was horrifying for all the wrong reasons, not scary reasons. It's just awful. But
that's another one's hard to get through.
Yeah. Stranger Things is probably what you would get. You're right.
Ben, Fire in the Sky is really scary.
That actually freaked me out as a kid. I watched it later, more like, you know, when I got older, and it wasn't still scary, but when I was a kid, I was like...
The scene where you see, like, what happened to him on the ship, like, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. It was still good. I still loved it when I got older. But I remember when I was a kid, and I saw that on, like, when it first premiered on TV, I was like, whoa, this
honestly,
is insane.
Close Encounters isn't even that scary, but when the kid, like, is gone and everything, that scared me as a kid.
And... just kind of go into that for a second. Flight of the Navigator, the ending always just messed with my head.
It's so dark, and he's like older than his
little brother. Yeah, he comes back, and his little brother is now older than him, and like because he's the same age, but his family's like aged a good 6 or 7 years or something like that.
It's really kind of tragic, right?
Yeah, it's just weird. It kind of reminds me of the Thanos snap in the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah,
where it's like they didn't miss the 5 years, but everybody else did, or something like that.
Aliens scared me a little bit more. I think it's just because, like, as a kid, for me anyway, I connected to movies that had kids in them. And so seeing how afraid Newt was of the aliens made me even more afraid of them than I was, because I'd already seen Alien. You know, my parents had them on VHS. But, I connected to the fear of the xenomorphs more watching Aliens, just because I was, like, the same age as Newt. I was a little kid. Mm-hmm. So, just... because then you picture it, like her having to hide in the ship, knowing that there's monsters that kill their family. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty scary. A lot of people are mentioning some good ones in the chat. Belda mentioned The Thing, which is obviously fantastic.
Yeah.
The Blob, the OG with Steve McQueen, and the remake, both fantastic.
They didn't scare me, but I do like them. I guess my 3 would be Alien, The Thing, and Species. Because I know if there's a lot of movies I would survive in, but Species is not one of them. I would die in that movie.
Yeah, I would not. But Species, the part that always gets me in that one is, like, I really feel for her when she's, like, a kid and stuff before the whole, you know, before she's, like, a bad guy. Like, I really empathize for that character, and I felt really bad for her.
Yeah.
I feel like Splice kind of expanded on that, you know, to make you empathize a little bit more, because I feel like you kind of forget that once we get into the whole, you know, she's coming to her own and needs to mate and stuff.
Yeah. Splice was good. I liked that. I think that was a little underrated.
Splice was good.
I thought it was underrated.
Splice was good shit. Yeah, The Thing is really good. Ben Grimm mentioned The Fourth Kind. I really hated The Fourth Kind. But I watched that as an adult, so that might be why. Quiet Place was good. War of the Worlds, Aliens. Steve McQueen original. Yeah, Anthropomorphic Fiend. I love that Steve McQueen original. If you caught, I haven't made a lot of videos on my channel, but I did a Bunny Man one. And if you've seen that video, it's a lot of footage from that original. I love that one. My mom is a big horror nut. And so when I was a kid, she showed me a lot of really old horror movies that she grew up on. So I watched the OG Fly. I watched The Bad Seed. I watched The Incredible Shrinking Man. I watched the original Blob. So, you know, Universal monster movies. So I have a special place in my heart for a lot of those movies, because even though they came out before I was born, that's what I grew up on.
Incredible Shrinking Man, that one, like, just the idea of that freaked me out a lot as a kid.
How basically he goes into nothingness?
Yeah, that freaked me out as a kid.
The spider part freaked me out, and the cat.
The cat part got me, but then, like, even when he gets too small for anything to even hurt him, like, that's scary. It's
really weird, though, because it's scary, but as an adult, it's kind of bittersweet, I guess.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but...
We have it on DVD.
Yeah, I know. I just haven't
But, I
seen
mean, he basically comes to the conclusion because his wife thinks the cat ate him.
Yeah.
Which I always thought she jumps to that conclusion pretty damn fast. And this is another one based on a short story by Richard Matheson, who he's my favorite author of all time. He can do romance, sci-fi, horror, you name it. Man did I Am Legend. He did the best episodes of The Twilight Zone. He did, Bid Time Return, which is somewhere in time. He's just amazing. He does all the things.
Yeah.
He did Incredible Shrinking Man, and it's bittersweet because his wife thinks he's dead because she thinks the cat ate him because she sees a scrap of his clothing, and he gets smaller and smaller and smaller. He's going to eventually go to the point where he's nothing.
Yeah.
He's microscopic and then might just blink out of existence. But at least in the story and a little bit in the movie, he comes to the conclusion that it doesn't really matter if anybody knows he's alive. It doesn't matter if anybody knows of his existence because he knows of his existence, and in his world, he believes in God. God knows he exists. It just says the fact that you exist is enough. Yeah. You matter because you are matter. That's all. You don't need other people to know about you or to validate your existence. You matter just because you are here.
Exactly. I mean,
which is really profound.
That was enough to keep Michelle Pfeiffer alive in the Ant-Man movies. So.
Yeah, he's going to the quantum realm. That's what Beldam just said.
Yep.
He's going to go fight some water bears.
That's what he's going to live off of.
Water bears are the freaking best, aren't they?
You could ride them. You could tame them. You could make them jump through hoops and eat them.
Cuddle them.
Buffalo for people that small.
So, for Anthropomorphic Fiend, hey, Felix, wow, like everyone from Patreon's here. Felix, we're doing a movie night, Patreon movie night tomorrow. Because I couldn't do it last week because I was sick. So, Patreon movie night tomorrow if you're part of the Patreon group. And if you want to join, Patreon movie night tomorrow. Links are in the description. We're going to watch Don't Look Now. It's exciting.
It is.
Don't spoil the ending.
There's a very hairy sex scene in that movie, which rumors are...
It's the 70s.
Rumor is it's real.
I don't think it's real.
He claims it is. She says no comment. The director says it's not. But who knows?
Do you think that's how Kiefer was conceived?
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that she just said no comment makes me kind of believe it. When he said it was real,
because she's got class, dude.
But he says it's real, I'm like, yeah, right. But then she's like, no comment. Well,
hey, Doc the Metal Freaks here. You're not late at all. I just feel like kind of doing an after party. We're just gonna talk about random horror stuff.
You're late for Ghouls Night Out. But
you did miss Ghouls Night Out, but
you can go back and watch it. Yeah, it's not gone. How you been, Doc? I feel like I haven't talked to you much in a long time.
So for Anthropomorphic Fiend, I want to have kind of the discussion we just had about vampires, but I want to talk about aliens, but I want to talk about vampires.
Real vampires, though.
Vampires. Well, I don't like to discredit anybody's work. I mean, even the cheesiest vampire shit, even the romantic stuff, it's a value.
No, I meant because we were talking about fake vampires earlier, like from Martin and stuff.
Oh, well, even that I think is kind of in league.
He's not an undead, but he's still a vampire. He drinks blood.
Favorite vampire movies, but I also want to ask you, has a vampire movie ever scared you? Actually, that's what I want to ask you first, because I think vampires are immensely interesting, and they usually give us some very layered movies. There's one, what the fuck was that called? Fuck. Well, it's COC, what the hell was that called? It's gonna drive me crazy now. I gotta go look it up.
Well, the vampire scene that messed with my psyche the most is actually from Interview with a Vampire, and it had nothing to really do with vampires. Remember when they...
Byzantium, that's what I was thinking of. That one was really good. So what I was trying to say is they give us really layered, complex movies that, even though they're about vampires, they have a lot to say about humanity.
Yeah.
But they're very rarely scary. So what scared you about Interview with a Vampire?
It wasn't even so much that they're vampires that scared me. It was, that scene where they're like doing a play in front of an audience, and then like they strip the woman naked, and then they actually kill her in front of them. The fact that you're being killed in front of like a group of people, and everybody just laughs and thinks it's part of the show, that like messed with my head. Like just doing that, I'm like, whoa. Just to feel helpless.
Because I mean, it's when you watch movies where you're like the same age as one of the characters. I think, I was about the same age as, I was a little bit older than Claudia when I saw that movie, but the idea that she is a full-grown fucking woman stuck in this little girl's body, like, that kind of messed with me, especially when you see, like, she's kind of going through puberty, she's going through all these things, by the end of the movie, she is a full-grown fucking woman, and she's still a little kid. And, you know, I was at that age where it was right before puberty where you feel like nobody takes you seriously. You feel like you have maturity and nobody listens to you. And I thought about that. I thought, you know, what would it be like if that lasted for the next 40 years, 100 years, 200 years?
There's other movies that have kind of touched on that, like Let the Right One In or Let Me In.
Yes.
She is a full-grown adult, and she's still trapped in this little girl body. The best part of the movie Daybreakers, that wasn't a great movie, I didn't think, but I love in the beginning, and there's this little girl who's a vampire, and right in the very beginning of that movie, she commits suicide. She leaves a suicide note and everything. She goes out onto her, like, the balcony of her, like, window and lets the sun kill her because she does not want to be 12 years old forever.
Well, and that's part of why they kill her, because it's a crime to make a child a vampire. Yeah. And then What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show, made a joke out of it because they have a baby.
A baby vampire.
The baby vampire is everything. It's amazing.
I love that show. It might not be scary, but it's my favorite
Ariel
vampire
and
thing.
Ben Grimm, Psych just released a new movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I did see that it was released. So, something Lassie Come Home, I think.
Oh.
But has a vampire movie like really scared you? You know what? There is one that has scared me. When I was a kid, I saw Salem's Lot, and you know when the boy is scratching the window?
Yeah.
That scared me.
I always felt the cover was scarier than the movie with Salem's Lot. I like the movie.
Not even the main villain, just the little boy when he comes back and he's tapping the window.
Tapping at it.
Oh, it's so creepy.
I love that in Buffy though, where he's Luke Perry like goes to the window and they're tapping on it and they're like, "You fucking flying, man!"
He's all like, "Let me in, Pike. I'm hungry. You're floating.
You're floating, dude." I love that part. I think it was a good shout out to Salem's Lot, kind of in a sense.
I love Buffy. The movie, the show, all of the Buffy.
Just
Oh wait,
Buffy.
so there's a Gory bingo?
Yeah, there we go.
Did they just?
Someone probably said something about it right there. Gory bingo. Who had Buffy? E5.
Am I that predictable?
It's not a stream if Buffy hasn't you haven't mentioned like 5 different things.
Buffy is like a religion for me.
Yeah.
I love Buffy. That cat is so cute. Are cats on it? You're not a fan of what, Ariel?
I'm not a fan, Gory.
Favorite vampire movies?
Lost Boys, of course.
Lost Boys.
Fright Night.
Interview with the Vampire. Fright Night.
From Dusk Till Dawn, even though it's not much of a
Those
vampire
are my
movie.
3, but if we're going to get into lesser ones, yes, From Dusk Till Dawn, Near Dark. Okay, let's just go down through, like, not necessarily favorite, but for people watching, essential vampire movies you need to get your ass on.
Vampires 2 with Bon Jovi.
Don't be oh shit, I just hurt you.
But I like it. I like Bon Jovi. Well, not that, but I like Vampires 2 with Bon Jovi. I think it's hilarious.
Here's one you guys probably haven't seen if you're really into vampires, The Forsaken. Do you remember The Forsaken?
Yeah, I remember The Forsaken.
I really like that one. I think it came out in the early 2000s, and it had I can't even remember the freaking Keir Smith, I think. I don't remember. But it's basically a vampire hunter type movie, and they find a girl who is been bitten, but she's not fully turned. And it's one of those ones where if they can get the person who turned her, they can save this girl. But it's fun. It's got some charm. Transfiguration was one that came out on Netflix a while ago, where it's not even supernatural. This guy is really obsessed with vampires.
Like I said, that's the subgenre of vampire
It's kind of
movies
like
that
Martin.
are actually vampires.
But I mean, it's part of the.
Yeah, they are vampires. They drink blood. They're just not undead.
Mm-hmm. Another one that maybe you guys haven't seen is Bitten.
Bitten. Oh, that was good. With Jason Mewes.
With Jason Mewes.
Jay.
Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. What's the cat doing?
I don't know. He's trying to open the door.
You're free. So Jay is a paramedic. He's a paramedic, and he finds a girl in a dumpster, and she's beautiful, and she's helpless, and he wants to help her, and she's a vampire, and initially he, kind of helps her, but he realizes that he's helping her to kill people, and he gets really conflicted about it. But it's actually a really good movie. It's got some funny moments in it. It's dark. It gives you the gore.
There's always that tale of vampire where, like, the vampire will choose bad people to kill. They've done that in a lot of movies. I think they even did it in the Twilight movies. But they do that sometimes. Even Let the Right One In and stuff. Like, she tries to eat shitty people. So she...
Yeah.
And therefore, they're kind of anti-heroes, which I agree. I mean, if I was a vampire, that's what I'd do, too. I'd try to...
Even Twilight did that. They talk about, like, the backstory, how when he was eating people, he tried to eat the bad people.
Because he's so dangerous.
He's so bad.
Say it. Oh, you're a vampire.
You're a vampire.
Like, she eats a cougar. There were some cougars in that
William
movie.
likes Martin. I need to see
Martin is good. Martin is great. That's probably my favorite one of those movies. I did like Transfiguration, and I do like The Vampire's Kiss, and there's a couple other ones, too.
I don't recommend it with the greatest actor. I'm just saying, I was kind of mentioning as ones that you might not have seen that you might enjoy. And I don't think a lot of people have seen
I think
Bitten or Forsaken. Yeah, they're like hidden gems. Byzantium is another one.
Yeah.
The Vampire Lovers is another one that I don't think people have seen. Those are all the good ones. And I enjoyed Twilight, so stuff it.
I enjoyed that last one until the very end where they're like, no. Like,
I'm sorry, but I've seen a lot of vampire movies, and the scariest thing I've ever seen is that vampire baby.
The CGI vampire baby was really scary.
And then a freaking adult werewolf man imprints on it. That's horror right there.
Yeah. Kind of wanted to see where that was going.
William. So I used to work at a video store back in the day when vampires came out, and so I would get a lot of free posters from work. But I never got like the really good ones. So at one point in time in my room, I had posters of Shaft with Sam Jackson. I had vampires. Like I had the worst posters in my room. But yeah, I remember that.
Ariel really hates Nick Cage and Vampire's Kiss, but that is the most Cage he's ever been.
Mom and Dad.
Well, yeah, okay. That's probably the most Cage he's ever been.
Okay, Crazy Cage, top 5.
The one with the iguanas and the weed and all that stuff.
I'm gonna say Mom and Dad.
Vampires
Wicker
Kiss.
Man.
Big Wicker Man.
Vampire's Kiss.
Wicker Man when he's just punching all the women and he's in the bear suit.
I know he's not always great when he's like, okay, Nicolas Cage is like, honestly, he's a lot like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
When he's really good, he's Oscar worthy.
Yeah.
When he's bad,
it's at least entertaining.
Comedy gold.
Exactly.
If you guys haven't seen Knock Knock, there's a scene in there where Keanu Reeves gives us some Crazy Cage.
Yeah.
Oh, Mandy, for sure, with Crazy Cage. That's a good one.
Though in Mandy, he has a good reason to go Crazy Cage, but I still love the Crazy...
I didn't say he needed a reason.
No, I know.
In my head, he always has a reason.
Plus, you also get Cheddar Goblin.
Yeah.
Right.
Cheddar...
It's just like puking all over
Cheddar
the kid.
Goblin is my spirit animal. He's my Patronus.
Yes. Mandy.
So, guys, I haven't seen... God, what was that movie called? Drive Angry. I just found out it's supernatural.
I haven't seen that one either.
I did actually just purchase that one. I haven't watched it. If you guys like it, let me know. William, I like that you mentioned Carmilla, because Carmilla is the OG vampire story. Mm-hmm. It's crazy because it was before Dracula.
Yeah.
And I feel like we haven't really gotten a good Carmilla movie. We've gotten so many Dracula movies, and a lot of them are really good. A lot of them. I mean, I like the Coppola one. I obviously like the one that Bela Lugosi starred in. I like the Hammer ones. I like a lot of them, you know. Honestly, it's really hard to disappoint me with the Dracula movie, except for the new shit.
Carmilla is like the Lilith of vampires, because she was the first. But
she's never gotten a good movie, though.
Exactly. Well,
I haven't seen Unwanted, though. It's got the gal from Siren in it, and I haven't seen that yet. It might be good.
So, just a lot of people don't know Carmilla, sadly. Like, she is the OG. Like,
she's the OG.
There were vampire myths before her, but she was the first story written out about vampires. So.
Oh, hey. Anthropomorphic Fiend said Vampire Lovers. Vampire Lovers is one that I know is really good, but I actually have not seen that one. I know Tilda Swinton is in it, but I know it's really good. I haven't seen it. So, I do have it, though. I own a shit ton of movies, and it's really embarrassing. I'd say 10% of my collection I have not seen, but I do own this movie. I know it's really good. I know I'm probably going to love it. I haven't watched it yet.
What was that one where they were, like, in college, and they were, like, two girls, and they were vampires? And it was
Vamps.
That was fun.
That was by Amy Heckerling, who did Clueless, and it starred Alicia Silverstone and Kristen Ritter, who is Jessica Jones. And I know it's god-awful.
I thought it was fun.
But it's fun.
I wouldn't recommend it as, like, a great movie. It is
a popcorn movie.
Exactly.
And sometimes you want popcorn. I mean, there are times where I'm editing a video or I'm just tired and I don't want to put on something like Hereditary or Midsummer.
Yeah,
like the other day, my son and I were having dinner and what did I put? I actually put on Midsummer. And he was like, this is moving really slow for me. I'm like, okay, do you want just some entertainment? And then I put on Brain Damage, and he was totally not feeling that. But sometimes you want a popcorn movie. You want something that's not going to require a huge investment of your attention that you can just have fun with. You know, I think especially like when I'm sick or I'm just having a shit day, I always go back to those OG Universal monster movies. I mean, they do have depth to them. They're not popcorn movies by any means. But for me, that's my comfort food. Yeah. Those are movies that just give me the warm fuzzies in my belly.
Wait, Doc, there was a Blood Rain trilogy? I must have missed the last.
Yeah, dude.
I only saw the first one.
You're so late to the party.
I did not know they made. I know there was like more than one game. I didn't know there was more than one movie.
Yep, and they're all pretty bad, dude.
Well, I don't feel like I missed out if they were anything like the first movie.
They're all like straight to DVD.
I saw the first one. It was pretty bad. But when I remember when the first one came out, it's also when they like had the Aeon Flux movie, and they had a lot of other movies like that. Like the Resident Evil movie first came out too, as well around then.
Okay, so another vampire thing, and I know everyone in the chat is going to hate me and cancel Gory and all that stuff.
Oh no!
Why haven't I been canceled yet?
Maybe you have. I don't know.
I think it's because I'm not like important enough to be canceled. But I probably should be canceled.
Someday you will be, and
every time, seriously, watch my view count. Every time I mention dongs on this channel, I lose like 4 viewers. Dongs, it's gonna happen. Anyway,
got your bingo cards out of there.
But something I really love that everyone hates is the Kindred the Embrace TV show. Do you remember that? Now I'm one of a handful of people who actually owns this on DVD. It hasn't come out on Blu-ray. But I really liked it because I used to do the Vampire Masquerade and Vampire the Dark Ages, you know, LARPing roleplay. And I liked it.
I honestly only know about it because of the box set you
have. And it had a lot of great people in it. It had Brian Thompson, who is, you know, local. Yeah. And he was in Friday Night too. He's done a lot of great character work, you know, on Buffy. God damn it. Bingo.
Ariel wants to know if Dracula's daughter is gay. Probably.
Well, have you seen Dracula's daughter?
I think she's just sexual.
I think she's just a badass. I didn't get that she's necessarily gay.
I think she's just open, like, to anything.
I think she's pretty open.
Probably bi.
I think she's down to clown.
I think humans are just meat to her anyway, so.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what their gender is.
Speaking of weird vampire stuff, I've seen a few vampire movies that are kind of Elizabeth Bathory-esque. That's an ongoing thing with a lot of vampire movies. We get that in a little bit. I love 30 Days a Night.
Yes.
I love the aesthetic of it. By the way, can you hand me my graphic novels? You know, I'm just going to grab it. Right. So since we're talking about vampires, I want to show you guys something that's pretty great. I love the 30 Days a Night graphic novels, and I have this very beautiful
bulking beast
box set, and oh wait, that's the third one. Here we go. And I actually have this that was autographed.
Nice.
Dun, dun, dun. By the author and the artist. So I do really like 30 Days a Night, and the sequel film and the sequel book are both really underappreciated, I think. I think that was a decent film. I own that.
Yeah.
And another one that's surprisingly good. So I love Fright Night.
Oh, I love the sequel too.
I love the sequel of Fright Night, which is really freaking good. Yeah. Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite's in it.
He's already played a werewolf before.
And he was the werewolf in Monster Squad. I love that. It's got such amazing practical effects, such amazing characters. It's really, really charming. Again, with sequels, it's hard to match that iconic status of the OG. Fright Night is a masterpiece, but Fright Night 2 is really fucking good.
And honestly, Dracula from Monster Squad, I think, is highly underrated too. He's one of my favorite Draculas, actually.
He's great. I mean, he's his bitch to the little girl.
Which she was not prepared for.
And then so I was talking about Fright Night because unpopular opinion, I'm not a huge fan of the remake.
Oh,
I know Anton Yelchin is gold, but
had McLovin in it.
Fright Night is a masterpiece to me. I love that. It's in my top 10. It didn't work for me. And if it worked for you, that makes me so happy. Because, I mean, you love a horror movie. That makes you one of the coolest people I know. But it didn't work for me. Oddly enough, the sequel to that is kind of okay. I'm not kidding you.
I've seen it.
Fright Night 2 remake, it's weird because the remake to... It actually is another remake.
Yeah, isn't that technically the third remake? They just call it Fright Night 2?
Basically, they call it Fright Night 2. It's supposed to be a sequel to the remake, but they don't know about vampires and they don't know each other, which is weird. But it does a whole Elizabeth Bathory thing, and it's got some pretty impressive production design, so it's worth checking out.
Did a great Elizabeth Bathory thing was Hostel 2. That did a
yes! Oh, dude, that kill with Heather Matza. I don't want to butcher her name, but Heather M.
And then, she gets just sliced open, and the woman just bathes in her
blood. So good.
Showers in it.
There's been a lot of Elizabeth Bathory things in movies, and some are better than others. A really bad one that's just really good popcorn fun is Stay Alive.
Oh, yeah.
The video game one.
Yeah.
That's good beer and pizza fun. It's not good.
No.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't need good. I just need fun.
It's the type of movie that we'd watch with the kid, so we could riff on it.
Have you guys seen all of the Lost Boys sequels?
Yes.
I think you need to be kind of a hardcore Lost Boys fan to really appreciate those. But they are fun.
They are fun. Sadly, they were never going to live up to the original, but I wasn't expecting them to, so.
Yeah, isn't that weird, Zachary? The Fright Night 2 remake, you wouldn't... This is such an unpopular opinion. I like that Fright Night Remake Part 2 better than the remake. It actually was not bad for a straight-to VOD, DVD streaming thing.
I also feel like expectations were already low.
Oh, yeah. My expectations were like nothing. But I was like, wow, this is some pretty good set design. I feel like it was a spec script. Like, I feel like it was an Elizabeth Bathory movie, and it was kind of rewritten to be this Fright Night movie. I think it didn't feel like it worked as a Fright Night movie, but it was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I feel like it was a spec script. I feel like because they just came out with the Fright Night remake, and even though it wasn't critically acclaimed by any means, and a lot of people didn't like it, it still did okay, like money-wise. So then when whoever had the script for the second one, they're like, well, can we just make this and call it a Fright Night 2?
So William Ellman presents a good question. And that's the other reason I wanted to do this stream is I just did Ghouls Night Out, and I feel like I didn't talk to you guys that much. But now there's not a whole lot of you, and
you had your ghouls to talk to. It was.
I had ghouls to talk to, but
I was
now
in the chat trying to talk to
I want to talk to you guys too. So William Ellman, my bro. I don't think he minds if I call him my bro. He's my bro. Anyway,
I'll let you know if he does.
He probably will. All my friends are cooler than me. Anyway. He had a good question. He said, what is the worst horror movie sequel? He would say Day of the Dead, Contagion. I actually didn't see that one. I saw Day of the Dead, Bloodline, and that's I was done. I was done.
Oh, you saw Contagion. Remember they were climbing on the walls and puking.
Oh, fuck me. I did see that.
But they're both awful. Bloodline was worse, though, because it was the rape zombie.
Oh. And my cousin kind of helped write it.
But he didn't write what they made.
He didn't. My cousin helped write Bloodline, and it was his idea that she had, like, an ex-boyfriend.
That was in love with her, though.
That was still in love with her, and it was his love for her that helped him maintain his humanity. It was his idea, like, that's how we would get the Bub character, which they kind of already did in the first Day of the Dead remake. So,
yeah, they had a Bud instead of
but
Bub.
they completely changed it, and he was like, you know, please just take my name off of it. Yes, he is my bro. He didn't want anything to do with it. But worst sequel ever. God, that is a hard one, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
I've seen so many
Seed of
bad
Chucky's bad.
Seed of Chucky.
It's the worst of that series,
but
it's
I
still
can
better
still
than...
watch it.
Exactly.
I rewatched it at least 8 or 9 times. There are sequels I cannot rewatch. Oh, well, it's not a horror movie, but Batman and Robin. Fuck that movie.
Oh, well, yeah. Batman and Robin just killed the franchise.
For the longest time, I was like, that is the title we do not speak in this house.
Killed the franchise. Spider-Man 3 killed its franchise, too, but...
I liked Happy Death Day to You. I mean, it's not a horror movie, but it's alright. Worst horror sequel ever, though. Because Batman and Robin's not a horror sequel.
That's the thing. The big problem with Happy Death Day to You, the sequel, or whatever, is it's not really horror at that point.
Hey, try this. It's Rolling Rock and Diet Pepsi.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because those are the 2 drinks I have available.
Okay. We'll call that the Gory. Want to go to a bar and order a Gory? What's a Gory? Rolling Rock and Diet Pepsi.
Diet Cherry Pepsi.
Diet
Get it right.
That ain't cherry. No.
Oh, Phantasm 2 is my favorite Phantasm movie. I definitely wouldn't pick that one. Hey, Doom Guy, what up?
Phantasm 1's my favorite, but I liked 2. Out of those,
this is hard. Okay, so
out of those series, I think 4 is my least favorite.
I'm throwing Texas Chainsaw Next Gen, but see, that one's enjoyable, so it can't be that one. It can't be Seed of Chucky, because even though it's shit, it's kind of enjoyable. What is a sequel you cannot watch? Like, it is dog shit.
Independence Day 2.
But it has to be horror.
I know, but
it has to be horror.
It had a giant monster and a giant kaiju.
And see, that's what's hard, because a lot of these franchises I forgive more with franchises. Seed of Chucky, if it was not a Chucky film, I wouldn't forgive that.
Yeah, I know.
But it's a Chucky movie, and you know what? Even though it's a bad movie, Chucky is still Chucky.
Brad
in
Dourif
that.
does great in it, nonetheless. He has a crappy script, but he himself is great.
My friend Cody our friend Cody Leach did a ranking of the Chuckies, and he made a good point. That character is still true to that character.
Yeah.
If you like that character, he is still Chucky. It's not a great movie, but if the character is what you like,
exactly. That's why I give all the Chucky movies a pass.
It's still more Chucky than some of the other
Brad
films.
Dourif has never failed. And
Never.
Jennifer Tilly's great in those too. So.
Creepshow 3 was really bad.
I mean, that's the same thing.
I feel like I can come up with a better one though.
Yeah.
I feel like I can.
Creepshow 3 did suck though. The Creepshow, the TV show was pretty good.
Phantasm, I'd probably say Ravager was my
that
least
4?
favorite.
4 or 5? I don't know. I didn't really like 4 or 5 that much. It'd be one of those ones. I can't remember which they were all called. I like the first 3 pretty well.
Oblivion?
Yeah, is that the...
Oblivion's the one with all the flashbacks of the tall man and stuff. I mean, it's alright.
The tall man never failed either. My friend Ronnie, when we met the tall man at a Crypticon, it was right before...
Our friend.
Yeah, but it was right before I met you. So he asked the tall man, he walked up to him and goes... Well, he's getting his autograph, and he's like, "So is the tall man gay?"
That's so fucked up. Like, he's a nice man.
He looked up at him like, "What?" He's like, "Well, I mean, he turns into a hot woman to lure them to their death, but why does he choose to have sex with them before killing them?" It's like, why can't he just kill them right away? And he's like, "I don't know how to answer this." I was just like, "Oh,
fucked up."
Veronica,
but is Veronica a sequel? That's the one that Danzig did. I have that, by the way.
Oh,
did you see that? I have that.
No, I did not. Yeah,
I have it. I got it because fucking Danzig.
He's in
Danzig made a movie. I got it.
You got Kiss Meets the Phantom?
No, but I'm not a Kiss girl. I'm a Misfits girl.
Oh, okay. Why are you a Danzig girl?
Danzig's part of the Misfits. Therefore, I apply.
Mother. Oh, man.
When Gory starts singing, the subscriber hey, Canadian Jason's in the house.
What up, Zach Bird?
Worst sequel. Okay, guys, I need your input here. What is the worst sequel ever? I don't
Turtles
mean
3. All right, no, that's not
horror sequel. Worst horror sequel ever. Cause see, a lot of them, even though they're awful, they're
what about
tolerable.
reboots? Michael Bay's Nightmare on Elm Street.
It has to be a sequel. What's the worst sequel ever? Because there are some bad reboots. We can talk about bad reboots, but let's
do the sequels first.
Worst sequel. Okay, I think I have. Oh, is it a sequel or is it a reboot?
What if it's a sequel to a reboot, like we mentioned Fright Night?
Leprechaun Origins?
Oh, God. That was awful. Yeah, Leprechaun Origins.
Is that a sequel?
I don't know what that is, but it sucks.
Is it the win for both?
It might be.
I think what's so offensive about Leprechaun Origins is I really hate when a movie acts like it's too good to be a part of the franchise.
You can't acknowledge the source material.
Because
I know it's better than the source material.
I know Leprechaun isn't a masterpiece. I know that.
But
I like it. There's a reason you're getting paid money to make a fucking Leprechaun movie. It's because people like it. It's entertaining to us. We like the character of the Leprechaun.
Warwick carries the franchise.
Yes.
He might
and
not.
So when you have interviews with Hornswoggle saying, "Oh, I've never watched a Leprechaun movie," that doesn't endear me to you. That makes me really offended.
Hornswoggle, everything he did in WWE was offensive too. It's Vince McMahon's like bastard son and all this other bullshit.
So like that's really upsetting to me, like with Leprechaun, because they really were like they were better than a Leprechaun movie, but I didn't want them to be better than a Leprechaun movie. I just wanted a Leprechaun movie, and honestly, I really liked Leprechaun Returns because even though it didn't have Warwick Davis in it, I felt like it was really true to the franchise, and it gave me what I want from my Leprechaun movie.
You can tell the people who made that were a fan of the first movie.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it. I think that's why
fuck, we didn't even talk about the Children of the Corn movies. There's some shit there.
There is.
Remember the one where the
one.
girl was killed in the bathtub by corn?
They just threw the corn into the bathroom and
Oh,
it killed
God,
her.
it's so bad.
Okay, well, House of the Dead was a horrible movie, and it also had a sequel. So House of the Dead 2 was awful as well. If you haven't checked out on Horror Addicts, I just recently did a video called Horror Movies That Should Be Remade, because they had good plots, but they were bad movies. And we had I Am Legend on there, I had House of the Dead on there, and stuff. Lizzie from Carnage Candy, she also had one that came out the same day.
There is the Sorority Babes on the Slime Bolorama, the disco one. That's pretty much just a softcore porn. There's no story, and it's garbage.
And then there's the German of Anthropophagus and...
Oh, Anthropophagus just got a Blu-ray release.
Oh, I need to get that. But then there's the German version of, like, sequel, reboot, or whatever. And it's just...
Jeepers Creepers 3 was pretty shit.
Yeah, I didn't like... I'm not a big fan of Jeepers Creepers to begin with, but 3 was, like, even worse. Like, you could tell the budget really went down.
Return to Salem's Lot. Was that the one? The one with the kid.
Yeah, that wasn't very good.
Fucking hated that one. I love Felissa Rose and everything, but that kid was so annoying.
Yeah, I don't blame Felissa Rose. Yeah, we're the little kid and he's obsessed with, like, frogs.
I also want to briefly mention, this isn't going to be a long one, but unexpected sequels. How weird was it that we got a Car sequel? The Car sequel?
Oh, yeah, the Car 2.
Like, a couple of years ago?
And that was, what, 30 years after the original?
And nobody watched it,
40
and it
years?
was so random.
Went straight to video, like, out of nowhere.
So random.
We've been getting a lot of those, like, random, like, hey, remember the movie 30 years ago? Here's a sequel.
Like, how many people today have even seen The Car? Which is really good, by the way. You should see The Car.
Not in the chat, but horror miser Monty G. That's what he wants to see remade. Like, which I don't want to remake.
They could remake it with his son.
Yeah.
What? Because he was just Thanos and Cable.
Yeah.
And his dad was in the car.
And
it was so good.
I don't want a remake, but I actually would like a sequel to Christine. I would like to see her mowing down some Generation Z.
Okay, so movies you want a sequel to.
I want a sequel to Christine. I don't want it to say the other one didn't happen. I want them to reboot it. I just want Christine, because we know that Christine's not dead. She will eventually... She has Logan healing powers. She eventually will heal.
Obviously, we're supposed to get this, but I don't know if it's ever gonna. I want a fucking sequel. Okay, here's the 2 sequels I want. And they're supposed to be happening, but I feel like it's never gonna fucking happen. I want Trick or Treat 2.
Yeah, that was...
And I want Behind the Mask 2.
Well, also think about... Oh, yeah, I would love the Behind the Mask. People have been trying to get that to be made. I don't know if it ever will. The actors are getting to the age where it's gonna be hard. But as for Trick or Treat 2, think how long it took us to get Trick or Treat 1. Like, that was made, and it took about 5 years before it finally got released on DVD. Like, it would be shown in select theaters for about 5 years.
Oh, Doom Guy, Shocker is the shit, dude. I fucking love Shocker. Doom Guy knows what's up, dude.
Yeah.
Doom Guy, do you like People Under the Stairs or Shocker better? Because it's been an ongoing debate in this house. I like them both, but Shocker's a better movie.
I really don't get what they have to do with each other. The only reason why it's a debate is because we have this DVD that has both of those movies on it.
And I want to watch Shocker. It's fucking Shocker.
But if you flip it over, it's People Under the Stairs.
But it doesn't matter because now I have them both on the Scream Factory Blu-rays.
Exactly.
So you can just watch them whenever
But that
you
was the
want.
only reason why this became a debate. Because honestly, I would compare Shocker more to Falling Down or whatever, Falling Down.
I love Shocker.
And actually, I'd love a sequel to Falling Down. I like that too.
Shocker's so good. All right, so
Liza
what do you want to
Cotes.
see remade? And this goes for you guys in the chat. What horror movie do you actually want to see a remake? I mean, I know we don't like remakes, but what do you actually want to see a remake of?
I got a whole video on it.
Well, I haven't seen that video.
Why not? Have you watched Lizzie's?
I haven't watched it yet, dude.
Go watch them.
I'm doing a stream right now, bro.
All right. Well, go watch them
All
when
right,
you get a chance.
what do I want to see a remake of? I feel like I thought about this the other day.
I know you agree with I Am Legend, though, because it's like one of your favorite books.
Well, I mostly just want to see a decent adaptation because I feel like
Yeah.
we haven't really gotten a true adaptation of I Am Legend.
Plus, you probably don't want that horrible CGI open
And
mouth
I also
thing.
want a good Carmella movie,
Yeah,
though. I
Carmella.
gotta check out some of these movies that Anthropomorphic Fiend has been telling me. Shocker remake would be alright, but I don't know. Sometimes it's like the charm, flaws and all, is just good.
Warts and all, man. Love it for what it is. I think they're making a Hocus Pocus 2. And a Craft 2 or a show or something.
Fuck that shit. The Craft is perfection. Don't touch it. I mean, I think honestly the best remakes are ones where the movie had a really good idea, but maybe it wasn't executed well. Like House on Willow Street was an idea I really liked.
That got an honorable mention in my video.
House on Willow Street was about these people who essentially kidnap a girl.
Yeah.
And she ends up being possessed, and the tables completely turn. I thought that idea sounded really fucking cool, but the movie wasn't that great.
The premise alone, though, kept me watching.
Yeah, the premise was so fucking cool. That's one I'd like to see them take another crack at.
Yeah, that's one. I mean, even if they don't call it that, they can just steal the plot. I don't care. It was a 2016 movie. If some other movie wants to like steal that idea, or kidnap girls possessed, and it sucks for the people who kidnapped her. Just make it good though.
There are also things where I wouldn't mind seeing somebody else's take on it.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes it's interesting to see a story that you... Oh, Man's Best Friend is perfection. Don't touch that.
I love Man's Best Friend. But didn't they?
And they call it puppy love.
Did that movie get a sequel?
No.
I thought it did. But
it's perfection. You don't need to add any more. Lance Hendrickson, Ali
Lance
Sheedy,
Hendrickson is
a dog.
the shit. I love him. It climbs up the tree to eat the cat. It's so
good.
Well,
so good.
It's bad looking, but I love it for the fact that it's bad looking.
But, yeah, there are some movies that I like, but I wouldn't mind seeing somebody else's take on the story. Like, there's some things I just don't want to see anybody else's vision on. You know, I like it the way it is. Like, the Craft, I don't need another Craft. It's fine. Even though I know it's happening.
As we're saying, though, I don't want to see anybody else's take on somebody who isn't finished yet. I don't want to see other Chucky movies because Mancini's not done with it. I don't want to see...
Yeah. But, like, okay, Phantasm, Don Coscarelli is done with Phantasm.
Yeah.
He is retired at, Bannister is done. Everybody is done with Phantasm.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem with Phantasm is, one, I feel like I still haven't gotten some satisfying answers to some of the things in Phantasm, which is a really interesting universe. But there's a lot of things I wanted answers to that I didn't get answers to.
I think there's some graphic novels.
Yeah. But I wouldn't mind somebody else's take on Phantasm.
Mm-hmm.
I like Don Coscarelli. I'm fine that it's a slow burn. But maybe somebody else can, take some of these ideas and make a movie that's just interpreting it differently. Maybe, flesh it out a bit. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Phantasm and it needs to be fixed. I'm just saying it's one I wouldn't mind seeing somebody else's take on.
Zach, actually, I would like to see you direct a remake of 1 Hour Photo, honestly.
Remake of 1 Hour Photo? Oh, I love Deadly Friend. Doom Guy, I don't want to see a remake of Deadly Friend. I want the director's cut. See, the problem with Deadly Friend is Wes Craven made it. It's based on actually a novel. And the novel's pretty good. And he did it more close to the novel, a little more science heavy. There was more romance and stuff in it. And the studio fucking hated it. And they cut out a good 45% of what he did.
And made him redo
And he was so pissed off because they made him do reshoots. He almost walked off. He was so pissed. I would like the original director's cut of Deadly Friend.
Yeah.
Especially because we've lost Wes Craven. If that exists anywhere, I would like a director's cut of give me the Craven cut of Deadly Friend.
Exactly. I mean, I do enjoy the cut we got. I like that movie. It's fun. But I would really love to see what he had originally. Mm-hmm. I'd like a Craven
And
cut.
if you look at, some of the stills and stuff that were released in promotional materials for that movie, there's a lot that we lost.
And I believe it's still out there somewhere, so someone
And
can
I
get
like
on
the
it.
movie as it is, but...
Yeah, but I still would love to see what his
I would
take
like to
was.
see his vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Felix in the chat. Event Horizon's another one that was butchered.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of movies that have been butchered that I want to see the actual vision of the director. Another one, it's one of my favorite films, is Jason Part 7. Friday the 13th Part 7.
Versus Carrie.
I really love that movie, but it got butchered.
All those kills, they had some really fun, creative kills in there.
The party horn kill.
They had some fun. The buzzsaw and everything. There's some great kills in there, but they just get taken away from you. Like right when it's going to get good, cut to the next scene because...
Harden. All right, I like Jeffrey Combs. I like what you're saying here. Like, you and I feel like we're a meeting of minds. But I got some questions because Jeffrey Combs has been in some things that I don't know how I feel about. I want to know your opinion. Have you seen The Attic Expeditions?
Oh,
and have you seen, what's the mold one?
Oh,
Motivational Growth.
Motivational Growth.
I want your opinions. There's no wrong answer. You can love these movies. I'm just curious. I just burped on camera.
And the mold, Jeffrey Combs, who did the voice for the mold, that was the best part of Motivational Growth.
Even in a movie I don't like, he is gold. I have the hiccups.
He also, I believe, did the voice of Brainiac in Injustice 2.
Truth, Joseph Hall. Truth. Yeah, Part 7, I feel like Part 7 gets a lot of shit, and it's not fair because it was so chopped. But it's still a good movie, and its story for me resonates more than, bloody kills. I would love it if we got the full movie, but I like the story of Part 7. It's fun.
Ariel, you're right. The director's cut of Little Shop of Horrors is cool. It's where the plants take over the whole world. But I bought that on DVD, because I have it on VHS somewhere. But I got it on DVD to show lols. And unfortunately, it only had the director's cut. It did not have the regular cut, so I couldn't show him the happy ending. Well, there you go. That's the ending. And he was like, oh, so plants win.
Harden knows what's up. The Tingler, I love Vincent Price so much, but The Tingler is so horrifying. And see, here's the problem with a lot of movies at that time because of, again, the fucking ratings board. I mean, they fucking neuter fucking beautiful movies.
Oh,
yeah. There's a lot of movies I really love in the 50s, but because of the Hays Code and everything, a lot of these movies just got fucking brutalized.
Still doing it today.
I love Bad Seed, but they have to add this bullshit where they spank her at the end, and it's kind of cute. They did the best they could, but, it's not needed. I would love a Bad Seed that just went full on horror. Not the Lifetime one, which wasn't bad, but just fucking brutal. Which I think the closest we're going to get is The Good Son.
Yeah.
But I would love one that's just fucking brutal. Another one is the original Fly, and we did get a remake of that, and that is wonderful. But the original Fly gets passed over a lot, and it's actually really, really, really good. But the only parts of it that fail are the parts that are so cheesy because it's the fucking 50s.
Exactly.
And it's not all movies from that time period were cheesy. It's just there's a handful that were studio produced that had a lot of influence from the studio that just didn't work.
Cronenberg, for some reason, just got away with everything he wanted. I don't feel like
because he's Cronenberg.
I don't think a studio ever stepped in to tell him he couldn't do anything.
He just released a new music video. Did you see that?
Yeah, but
pretty cool.
He's one of those directors who, like, because I always hear about, like, these directors who got neutered by the studio. I never heard that about Cronenberg.
Hey, Jordan's here.
What up?
Okay, William Castle, anything is pure gold. Like, I love remember the whole Dark Castle time period, which was in the early 2000s? It was, I think it's son. Might have been his grandson. But he did remakes of a lot of William Castle's movies. Like, he did House of Wax. He did House on Haunted Hill. He did Ghost Ship, and I really liked those. A lot of people didn't like those, but I thought those were really fun. But William Castle, pretty much everything is amazing.
I was just disappointed with the House of Wax remake because all the 3D movies that were coming out at the time, why was that not 3D? Because House of Wax is supposed to be 3D.
See, that's what I would like to see, Jordan. I would like to see more movies that are events.
Yeah.
Movies, for a period of time, there were events. And the last movie I saw that really felt like an event was Grindhouse, where I got to see 2 movies, and I had all the fake trailers, and it was really, really fun.
And you didn't get those fake trailers until the Blu-ray finally put them all in there. Because even when it came out on DVD, those trailers weren't in there.
But it was like an event.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
William Castle movies were events. You know, he would just do crazy things. Like the skeleton that flew through in House on Haunted Hill. And he, would do the things, the tingler where the chairs would buzz a little bit. But he did things to make it an event. And I would like more movies to do that.
It's not really a horror movie, but Matinee was great because that's what it was exploiting. Like, they had the giant ants and stuff, and they were really going in on that with, like, the theater is going to make an event out of this. And then the 2 kids thought everything was so real that they locked themselves in the bomb shelter because they thought the world was ending, but it was really just this big event for the theater. John Goodman, I recommend it. It's not a horror movie, but go check out Matinee.
Doomguy mentions the Tales from the Dark Side movie. I love the final segment in Tales from the Dark Side with the gargoyles. Like, I would love a whole movie of just that.
Ariel, of course we've seen Beastmaster. I mean, we used to have 3 ferrets. We love them.
Dude, ferrets are the best.
We didn't name them after those ferrets, but we named ours after X-Men instead, but I love Beastmaster. That's actually one movie. Beastmaster would be a good reboot nowadays. I think it's been enough time. It's been long enough.
I mean, pretty much ferrets in
it's not a horror movie,
great.
But as long as they keep ferrets in it, I'll go see a Beastmaster movie. So.
Why not?
That's actually the movie that made me aware of ferrets existing, I think. I saw that at a very young age, and I'm like, what are those?
They're carpet sharks.
I got to grow up and own some of those.
They're cat snakes.
Yep. When I was in high school, I had a ferret for like...
Yeah, Doomguy knows what's up. Dude, isn't that gargoyle one, like, it's so good. It needs a full-length movie.
Oh, from Tales of the Dark Side?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's...
It's so good.
I love that one. It doesn't need a full-length one, but I love the cat one, too. I mean, it was good. It probably could be stretched out. That was the one that was
based on a Stephen King story, and I think they did everything they could with it. I thought it was really good, though.
I think the Steve Buscemi Mummy was the weakest link, but I still liked it.
I liked it. It was like lot 249 or whatever. And it had Christian Slater in it. Tales from the Dark Side is great.
It is, and it had
Deborah Harry.
Even the TV show, you can talk all those shit you want and say how cheesy it was. It was very cheesy, but I love that show.
And it's getting a Scream Factory release here pretty soon. I think in like September.
But the movie itself, like, is about as perfect as an anthology movie can be. I really like Tales from the Dark Side. Really it still holds up. The show doesn't hold up, and it's still very fun to watch.
That gargoyle one, though,
but
like,
the movie
gets me
holds up
every time. Like, I wouldn't mind a whole movie of that. It's so unique.
And I love the little, like, in between, like, book mark, like with the
Matthew Lawrence.
Yeah, and the
Joy Lawrence's little brother and Deborah Harry.
Yeah, she's gonna cook the kid.
Yeah, dude, she should have eaten it.
That was a great little, like, bookend story.
Witches don't get enough. I want more witch movies too.
Yeah.
I just want more witch movies. We don't get, like, I feel like vampires had their day. The whole Twilight thing. You know, werewolves don't get enough cred either. But
they come and go.
Witches are so unsung,
Wolves.
Dude. I mean, I don't count all that satanic panic stuff. Like some decent witch movies.
Those were so cheap and just a horror exploitation of what was going on. Most witches aren't actually satanic. I love how in Buffy, though, where they make the satanic witches kind of the good guys, and they make the pagans like the evil ones. That's fucking hilarious. You can be satanic and good, according to Buffy. Or not Buffy, Sabrina. That's what I meant. Sabrina. So, I love when Willow goes to the witch meeting in Buffy, and, like, they're just, like, giving recipes to each other. And Willow's like, this
Earth
is
Mother.
bored now. There's no magic, actually, here.
Yeah, more Gollum movies.
I also want the director's cut of Buffy with Seth Green still in it.
So from the chat, what is your recommendation of a movie that you feel nobody has seen, that you freaking love, that you want everybody here to know about and go watch right now?
Ben Grimm says Videodrome.
Videodrome's great, but he wasn't answering that question. I just asked it.
I know.
I'm always going to go with my go-to, which this should be in your Gory bingo if you actually knew Gory.
I know Gory.
Oh, now I get it. When you said Uninvited earlier, I thought you meant the remake of the Tales. No, the cat one. Yeah, that's totally Gory.
Yeah. Just didn't pop in your head. It does like once a day, just not on the stream apparently.
That's a weird thing.
No, the cat.
Love that movie.
That's what I even joked. I'm like, I'm looking at my bingo card, because my dad showed up for a little bit, so I missed like about 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, because they were talking about the bingo card. I'm like, oh shit, did she mention an Uninvited yet? Because if so, bingo. But they're like, no, not yet. I'm like, okay.
Are you serious?
But you had the Dongs, you had the Buffy, and you had the Greasy Strangler.
I did a whole retrospective and on Happy Birthday to Me on my channel. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. Oni Baba is a really good one. That one is horrifying. Attack the Block is a good one. I like Feast a lot. Uninvited is always mine, because mutant cat puking up a smaller mutant cat. Love that shit. What else? What is yours that nobody's seen it, but you like it?
Gravy. Not enough people talk about that movie. I love Gravy.
Gravy is good.
Greasy Strangler as well.
I love the Greasy Strangler. A lot of people have seen Greasy Strangler, they just don't like it.
Well, a lot of horror people have, but the rest of the world needs to be more aware of it.
Yes.
But I love Gravy. Check it out. It's funny because everybody thinks the Gravy, well, like, that's a Thanksgiving movie. It technically takes place in both Halloween for most of the movie and then Christmas for the little bit
I
of the
love
movie.
The Burning. Jordan gave me The Burning. I love that movie. Little Witches. Good. What's my... Well, I gotta stick with Uninvited. So there's a cat. It's a mutant. And it pukes up a smaller mutant cat. And they're stranded on a ship. It's just pure gold. It's pure gold. Not The Uninvited, just Uninvited.
Just Uninvited.
So good.
It's completely different.
So good.
It's a little puppet cat.
What are you looking at?
Trying to find something I was reading, but then I went ahead. Oh well.
Afflicted is really good too, Jordan. I have to agree with that one. Doom Guy mentioned The Hunger.
Oh,
Harden mentioned Intruder. Intruders, remember that one? That was actually pretty good. The one with the woman who's agoraphobic.
Yeah, I liked that.
That was actually pretty.
Because then there was
good.
a nice twist on that too. I'm not gonna spoil it.
It was
but
good.
It's got a good twist.
Intruders was good.
Zach Berta mentioned House 2. I liked House 2.
I like the little caterpillar guy.
I liked that movie. Is actually one of the first movies I really remember as a child.
Like, that's my dream pet, is that little caterpillar guy.
I remember Friday the 13th Part 5, Freddy's Revenge, so Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and House 2. Those are the first three movies I really remember that were horror movies. Like, I saw those at a very young age.
Terror Vision is good. I haven't seen The Nest. Okay, here's one. The Pit.
Oh, The Pit?
The Pit from 1981.
I'd actually like to see that remade.
It's pure cheese. Okay, I would like to see that remade. It's pure cheese, but it's really entertaining.
Put a darker tone to it, because it is a really dark movie. It's just, it's so cheesy that you laugh most of the time.
Tell them what The Pit's about.
It's about this kid who finds a pit full of, well, flesh-eating goblins, basically. So he lures everybody he doesn't like, babysitters, bullies, whatever, into the pit and, like, pushes them in, obviously, when he's like, hey, want to see something crazy? And then bam. Like, evil little bastard just totally gets away with it.
It's like so bad it's good, but it's not quite like that bad. It's actually really entertaining. It's a good watch.
I could see that being updated and, less cheesy. I love it for being cheesy, but like a reboot, you want it to do something slightly different, so make it just darker and less cheesy.
Another one that's really not that bad is, but nobody's seen it, is Bloody Birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Remember all the kids who were born during the eclipse?
And then they are all murderers.
And then they're kids and they go around like shooting people and killing people and stuff.
And
that was
beating
pretty
them
good.
with bats and
also
stuff.
from 1981.
Yeah. Very violent kid movie.
Joseph Hall. Phenomena is fantastic. The Dentist 1 and 2 are fantastic. The Evil Within is actually pretty good. Also, what was that other one? Crud. The Dead Pit.
Oh, yeah.
It just had a great VHS cover. Pretty much anything Henenlotter, too, just doesn't get enough love. Because Henenlotter doesn't get enough love.
I can't remember the numbers, but Evil, 461 or whatever the, phone number
one.
one.
976?
976
Evil?
Yeah, 976 Evil. That had a sequel, too, but I actually wouldn't mind a reboot of that. I wouldn't mind.
It had some great kills in part 2.
It did. I like those movies, though. And, I don't think anybody talks about them enough anymore, so maybe it's okay to remake it. Or at least make a third one. It doesn't have to technically be a reboot, just a new movie, because technically the first two are different stories, so.
I did do a Bloody Birthday comedy, or commentary. I think I'm going to have to do a review next year on my birthday, because Happy Birthday to Me and Bloody Birthday both came out the year I was born, so I should do a full retrospective on that.
Oh, another movie that I like that no one really talks about is...
Oh, The Children! The trauma movie from 1980 is so good!
Yeah. It's great. One that I think no one talks
975
about.
Evil. Thank you,
There
Joseph Hall.
you go. It's the numbers.
I was close.
Closer than I was. Just like, numbers/evil. It's a phone number. But, speaking of that, yeah. Fade to Black. I think that's a great movie that nobody talks about.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think people should go see
And
Fade to Black.
Angst from 1983.
Oh, yeah, the old
really
Angst
good one.
83.
Really good.
Oh, was it, Mausoleum? Oh, no. Is it Mausoleum, or is it the one that has...
The Manitou?
It's a 1983 film. It's got... what's his butt from Aliens and Terminator and... no.
Not that one?
No. That is a good movie, though.
It is a good one.
Yeah. The Bill Paxton movie from 83.
Oh, Brain...
No. It's like... I want to say Mausoleum or something like that.
I don't know.
Because he's like... He kills people with an embalming, tube. Like the tube that you stab people with in embalming. You'd have to look it up, but it's... Yeah.
Look at his IMDb.
There, go for it. 83. Scroll down.
83 was a long time ago.
It was. Oh, too far. 83.
Mortuary.
Mortuary, that's it. I wanted to say Mausoleum for some reason, but I knew that wasn't right. Mortuary. Mortuary's a good one. Because Bill Paxton is the shit, and that is a really good horror movie. Like I said, he kills people, and he uses one of those embalming, needles, you would stab into people to embalm them with. So I liked that one a lot. People should go check that out if you haven't seen it. That's definitely one I recommend.
I agree.
Bill Paxton was the shit.
Bill Paxton, anything
and
Bill
we
Paxton
miss him.
is very good.
That man. He died way too early.
He really did.
Oh, Toby Hooper's Eaten Alive. I like that movie. Nom, 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 nom. Gator chomp.
Toby Hooper's Toolbox Murders, I don't think enough people have seen either.
Honestly, go check out anything by Toby Hooper.
Toby Hooper's great.
Can't really go wrong. Evil Toon, pure
Mutilator's good.
80s cheese and boobs. Yes, there is some. My only problem with Evil Toons is that there's only one evil toon in that movie.
It needs more evil tunes and less toon rape.
Yeah.
I feel like he could have done that differently. But yeah, I like the idea of a horror version of Roger Rabbit, but I want more tunes.
So there's only one toon.
Less David Carradine. And less cartoon rape.
You want less David Carradine?
Well, I mean, he took a place that I thought was needed for cartoons.
He should have been Toon.
He should have been a cartoon.
He should have been in the movie, but he should have been voicing
like Dr.
a tune.
Doom.
Yeah, he should have been voicing.
He should have been a cartoon man.
Exactly.
Like Dr. Doom.
He should have been revealed as a tune. Like, when I killed your brother, his eyes should have popped at you right.
I talk just like this.
Yeah. They should have.
One of these days you're gonna die laughing.
It's like the movie Elves.
Hey, is Roger Rabbit on your bingo?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Because you mentioned that earlier, like in your stream, you were like, I say this like once a day. I'm like, yep, that's why it's on the bingo.
God damn it, I'm that predictable. This is why I shouldn't stream anymore.
You got to get 5 out of like 10 things that you talk about every time. Though I don't know what all 10 are. I know about.
Fine, I'm gonna
like
break your bingo the next time I stream. I'm not gonna talk about any of those things. None of them.
Well, then.
None.
The viewership.
Oh, Lake Mungo is really good.
Lake Mungo is great. It's like. It made me angry, but that's what it was meant to do.
It's supposed to, and it keeps you thinking. And
I love how like it just like it goes from one thing to another. It's like then this happened.
The
like,
movie
what?
tomorrow will be 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern, or 5 p.m. I mean, whatever one. Let me know in the chat. I'm pretty flexible.
My schedule's open for 6.
I know it's harder for B to do late, so 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. or 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern is also fine.
Yeah, but B's like, she's not,
I don't know.
I did a
poll.
She lives like far away.
I did a poll on the Patreon, so just let me know.
Yeah, check it out, yo.
The Wretched. I know about that, but I haven't seen it yet.
Doom Guy says the Mutilator. That's a good one too.
Mutilator is good. Alright, I'm starting to yawn a lot. So,
yeah.
I think the Gory hole has come to its inevitable conclusion.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Yeah, I know you commuted pretty far to make it to this.
Walk up them stairs.
This collab.
I was downstairs on my computer watching your last stream, and you're like, hey, that stream's over. Want to be on another stream?
My friends in Gory's Coven, the Patreon, join me over on the Patreon page. Let me know what time you want to watch the movie tomorrow. If you're not already a part of my coven, you can join me on Patreon. It's Patreon.com/GoryBMovie. We're going to watch a movie tomorrow. We're going to watch Don't Look Now. So come join us. Dan, I hope that commute is safe, dude. You know, those stairs are treacherous.
Yep.
And if you like these just random Gory hole talks, let me know. And I might do more. I just feel like talking to you guys and hanging out with you. It's been a lot of fun seeing Jordan, Felix, William, Ben, Doom Guy. This has been fun, guys. So, Joseph Hall. June Cleavage. Maybe we'll do this again. If you guys enjoy it, let me know. But for now, I think I'm going to go to bed.
We talked enough shop, right?
Yes. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Peace.